So, sir, in this section, we would like to focus on training and development. So, let's have first your outlook on that particular subject as a player, as a professional player, and then we'll dive deep into specific questions.
See, this question of training and development for a table tennis player is very important. In any sport, for that matter, any guy who wants to become a trained professional player or an athlete has to consider this as the most important aspect of becoming a trained player. To get into any game, for example, to work into any game or to work on the professional level or to reach the professional level in a game, one has to undergo tremendous amount of physical sacrifices to get to that level. So overall, you can say physical training of oneself to become a trained athlete is 75% of the job done to become a good table tennis player or a good trained professional athlete. Let's take into that not only as a table tennis aspect of it, but as becoming an overall good professional athlete.
Now, we'll dive deep into specific questions.
4 times 9 is good.
The first one is, how does a high performance training session look like? Like, if I'm a player, how would it look like for me when I know that I'm into a high performance.
Now, once you plan to become an high performance athlete, for example, and we can map one day in a life of a high performance athlete to understand this matter into deep detail. Typically, a day of an athlete say starts around about say 5:30, 6 o'clock, or 5 o'clock. In some places where the temperature is good, maybe 5 o'clock, 5:30. Where the temperature is not so cold and it's like temperate, very good temperature, then maybe at 6 o'clock. We start with a light running session, maybe of 30-35 minutes or so. You can say limbering up your limbs, you can say relaxing your limbs, do some stretching, do some bending, do some light physical exercises, and get yourself accustomed to your blood moving into your body, to get your say adrenaline check in, or you say oxygen level increasing, to become to undergo the next level of physical training, for example. After doing this physical section, say, or the one, if I go into a table tennis aspect of it, a guy comes onto the table, say, after having, say, light refreshment or a light breakfast, he comes to work on the table actually. The coach designs a program of, say, typically a session is there about 2.5 hours to 3 hours session. A coach designs certain exercises for their player to go and play it on the table. Say there are some movement exercises, there are some sideways movement exercises, there are some forward backward exercises, there are some basic push exercises, and actually your playing exercises. So this will consider to be a normal session. But after these 2.5 hours, one should not feel that no, my workload is over. No, the workload continues after that 2.5 hours of working session. Say after a light stretching or bending or something like that, you have to go into your mental preparation. For example, a physical mental preparation wherein the high performance coach along with a brain trainer or something who is there with you and undertakes or gives you certain brain training exercises wherein you stimulate your brain or you undergo that brain training to actually know which muscles or which physical intense shockwave structures the brain will take into wherein you utilize those skills to play table tennis. So my session does not end after actual table tennis playing or something like that, but it goes on continuing with my mental training, and then a rest training, then again going onto the table with physical training, and I may end with a day with a short again. Say a run of say about, you can say about 3 to 5 kilometers, and then do a bending stretching, and I stop for the day.
That's very intense. How did your training evolve as you moved from an amateur to a professional player? I remember you sharing the story. A Korean coach came in in a very cold environment. What level were you playing at that, and what was like for you to move from an amateur to a professional level?
We were not exposed to when we started playing table tennis for that matter. For if you take a case of mine, I never thought that I would enter into a table tennis in a big way to play very big professional level. Whenever I was a junior, say when I was 10 years old or 11 years old, my house was very near to Nehru Stadium, which is a hub of cricket. Was the hub of cricket during that time in Pune. The stadium was recently built. It was opened with a match between Australia and Indian Ranji Trophy, Maharashtra Ranji Trophy, or Indian Mix 11 or something like that. We had gone to watch that match and something like that, which kindled our interest into sports, and I started going to Nehru Stadium. So Nehru Stadium being a hub of cricket, and there was a table tennis hall also there, wherein senior players who were playing during that time in Pune. Like not many I knew, but I used to accompany my elder brother who used to go there to play table tennis, and I was acting like a ball collector there. Basically, I started watching table tennis of being a ball collector. After this guy's table tennis was over, I used to go to the ground and play cricket there. I was in fact a very good cricketer, played at a very high level cricket there also. I had done my you can say fielding practice. I used to be involved in physical practice, fielding practice for Ranji Trophy players who used to be practicing there every day. Like I remember I doing fielding practice for Chetan Chauhan, Sudhir Kulkarni, Nikki Saldana, and all those top players during that time. So I still remember watching them, training with them. And then during my off period times when these people were playing table tennis, you go and collect balls for them. So I was introduced to table tennis in a small way after my auntie brought two table tennis rackets from US, and she gave one to my brother and one to me. So I did not know what to do with the racket. So I used to watch my brother playing. So I also started going there. There was no formal coaching, no one to tell us how to play. It was just watch and improve. Watch and improve. How these seniors were playing. It was only during that time I used to watch and improve, watch and improve, watch and improve. And then I started learning, say, basic push, and how to do this. I used to ask the people, and that is how my table tennis journey started initially. But then I was playing okay table tennis, nothing great or something like that. Played some state ranking tournaments outside Pune. Eventually, luckily, fortunately, got selected for Pune district, and I went to Solapur to play my first state championships. I played there semi-finals, got selected to play for Maharashtra. I don't know how, but eventually I got to play for Maharashtra. Played my first nationals in Allahabad, and then this kindled my interest, or you can say regenerated my interest to play more table tennis and less of cricket. And I was not only playing cricket, but I used to play a lot of sports. Cricket. In school, I used to play basketball. I used to play hockey. I used to play football. Our school had a quite big ground during that time, and so we were exposed to all type of sports. But after this, playing for Maharashtra in table tennis, it kindled my interest to play more of table tennis. And then more table tennis in 1979, 80 for that matter. We got limelighted on the national circuit and eventually got selected from the junior ranks to go to an Indian camp which was undertaken by Park Hyo-gil from North Korea, a coach from North Korea. So we were introduced to Park Hyo-gil at a very younger age and very raw age, and we were not accustomed to anything exercise or training or more of table tennis or say exercises on the table like you have to play 20 minutes forehand or play forehand backhand. Nothing like that. We were not introduced to anything, but during that time we got introduced to all these things. So I went to first camp in Patiala and that was also in winter time. And Patiala used to be 1 degree, 2 degree. during that time. I remember Patiala to be my memory of Patiala is a big jungle. It was resembling a big jungle, though there was a palace of the erstwhile Maharaja where the offices were there and a small hostel where people could stay. Otherwise, Patiala was full of jungle. Nothing what you can see now, which is Patiala is a modern infrastructure in sports. That time it had nothing like that. And during that time, this Korean, right from the morning, he introduced us to running more than 5 kilometers a day, excessive training in table tennis, like he was a ringmaster. He used to do excessive physical work from us, he introduced excessive physical training from us. He used to make us run, make us jog, make us do squatting, make us do benching, make us do duck walking, and so many things in this cold weather. And if you are not able to do that exercise, or it was not according to his perfection, he used to hit us with a boot. With the boot had an iron this thing in front of him, which he used to hit below our leg. And my God, I have remembered those 2-3 beatings I have got on the legs, which used to make the leg full numb, because in that cold weather you cannot know what hit you, and that it used to pain for months together. So this is how we were introduced to intense table tennis playing. Though that fellow was not an today I can definitely say he was not a qualified table tennis coach, but he was definitely qualified as a ringmaster to take exercises from us. That is how we were introduced to doing excessive exercises physically. And then the next change level of physical exercise, I can tell you, happened during 1980-81 in Pune, where our own Pune district conducted a physical camp before our state championship, which was to happen in Amravati. So that time, our ex-player Mr. Ajay Tulgure, who took that physical camp from us, all our probable Pune players who are going to be selected during that time, including the girls, boys, men, women, everything, we were assembled. And we were given to Mr. Ajay Tulgure to train us physically. And to tell you, Ajay Tulgure had just come from a intensive judo training from 2 Japanese who were there in Pune. Yeah, I think it was in Ferguson College or something, I don't know. But he had undergone an intensive physical training from 2 big judokas who had come from Japan, and they had taken the training of these guys. And now that same training was going to be implemented on us. We were not knowing that, but he introduced that judokas training onto us, and I still remember my legs, my hands were totally unmovable for initial beginning period of that. I had gone to write my exams in BMCC, but wherein the first half an hour I could not even move my hand, because the invigilator used to come to us and ask, "So what are you doing? You are not writing your paper." I said, "Sir, I am trying to write, but I am not able to move my hand," because of that intensive exercises we were undergoing under Ajay Tulgure. And that, I will say, today, reflecting back on 1980-81 camp, I can say, introduced me to being physically fit, to inculcate an habit of doing more physical exercises, and training myself to be more super fit, which even today I try to inculcate that into my students also, and I try to practice myself also.
So when you were, growing as a player, what aspects of the game did you focus on the most? Was it the speed, the spin, the placement, or tactics, or the mental or physical aspect? So I understand that physical aspect was a big part of your progress as a player. But apart from that, if you were to highlight some of these.
See, to be very honest with you, or to be very honest to the public to whom I am addressing today, I would definitely say that our table tennis developed not by concentrating on a specific stroke or a specific aspect of table tennis. We were generally made to play overall table tennis, for example. Like you must do a little bit of push, forehand push, little bit of backhand push, little bit of forehand topspin. Backhand topspin was non-existent. Let me be honest with you. It was totally non-existent. So table tennis to us was totally forehand oriented and forehand and only forehand. You can say your backhand was also forehand and your forehand was also forehand. So whatever you did, you used to cover your backhand, play forehand, be ready for your extreme forehand, again play forehand. Backhand was, I may remember backhand as just a stopgap arrangement to make and change over to forehand. Maybe one or two balls we can play with the backhand or you can play a little counter with backhand and then again play your table tennis with forehand. So what we did or our coaches or senior players during that time used to tell us is, Sunil, concentrate on forehand, play more forehand, only forehand. So our brain was hammered with only playing forehand and forehand and forehand. And we were never introduced to any other stroke other than forehand. Or you can say we were never introduced to by players saying that you should do this service, you should work on this service, or you do your high toss service, or you work on your side spin, or your cover spin, or under spin, or backhand pushes or forehand pushes, or nothing like that. There was no what you can say basic table tennis was absent from our game, and teaching was another aspect which was totally absent. So whatever I told you, as I told you initially also, whatever we have learned, whatever I got to know about table tennis was only watch and observe. Observe was the biggest, you can say, word written in our brain, saying that observe what other people are playing or what our seniors were playing, and try to copy those strokes in our game. It was in later period of our life when I started going to Germany or I undergoing many national camps that I started to learn there are some 20 forehand counter combinations, there are some 20 backhand forehand combinations, you have to play forehand spin. During my World Championship days, I have seen people playing more backhand or something like that, wherein I came to know that there is a stroke called backhand also, and rubber on the backhand side can be used to play attacking table tennis, and it can be an attacking stroke to win your points, not only just to push or to block, but you can use it as an attacking part of it. So my table tennis, I can say, has evolved over a period of time, undergoing changes year by year, and most of the years where I have undergone observation more than actually going into training. But eventually when I started, like 1983-84, I started going to Germany, and then we had a standard coach. We had a very beautiful coach to our club who introduced us to so many playing techniques and something, and wherein I could see many top class world rank players playing, practicing with them, training with them day in and day out, training under a coach, coming back, undergoing Indian camps. That is how I evolved my table tennis, and I started undergoing the advancement in table tennis.
So, in this journey, when and how did you develop your own unique style of play, which became like a dominant part of your game, uh, and you started realizing, and then when you started getting results out of it, you developed it further.
There was a big change after I started going to Germany, for example. In Germany, we had standardized training, standardized coaches. The basic difference wherein one I can say definitely wherein I got to evolve my game is the first and foremost important thing which I got to learn when I started going there was you have about more than 700 types of rubbers which are there in the market. Because we in India, we were never exposed to so many kinds of rubbers available in the market, because we were made to be available with only a Striver, a Super Striver, a Mark 5, a High Original, or D13 butterfly rubbers. These 4-5 quality rubbers were only available in India, and we were exposed to only those rubbers, and we used to always go and play with those rubbers only. But over a period, when I started going to Germany, I started to experiment with many type of rubbers. I started to know what are the different type of rubbers, what you can play with, and the basic underlying principle as I came to know when I went to Germany is rubber or any other equipment will play maybe 15-25% of your game. Rest the game has to be evolved on your skill. So as I got to know this, I tried to understand what are the different skills that these players have and what are the skills which we don't have. And most majority of the skill which I found which Indian players were lacking was having a competent backhand. No one in India, absolutely no one in India, including my seniors who had gone and played maybe 3 or 4 world championships and still playing in India, never came back and introduced a backhand in India. So when I observed this, why are we not playing backhand? This is one point. The second point is everyone used to complain after playing from abroad and came giving interviews in the newspaper. Every player used to complain that those players are using speed glue. So what is the speed glue? Like mind was started asking this question: what is the speed glue? What does the speed glue do? What are the qualities of that speed glue? Is it useful for us to play with that speed glue? And etc. etc. What is the availability? What are the costs? That is all different part of it. But whether it is available, how do you use it? How do you apply it? Who trains you? Does it require any special training? These type of questions I started asking myself, and I started to discuss it with my fellow players in Germany, my club players, afraid with top world rank players. I used to be afraid to talk to them. How will they talk? I am no one. I am a no one player from India, but still playing along with them in Germany, training with them every day. So over a period of time, you happen to get friends with them. So I started to asking them, what is the speed glue? How is it used? Does it affect the rubber? Does it affect your game? Does it help you to enhance your game? So and so forth. So a lot of questions I used to ask. So, and also I used to observe, as I told you initially, first was the stroke called backhand. See, what do these people do? There are so many good players that time in the world who are playing only exclusive backhand. So they had trained themselves to be exclusively backhand players, like players from Poland or players from Bulgaria, players from Czechoslovakia. They used to be exclusively backhand players. So how do they do this? What do they do special? See, I knew forehand, but I did not know any backhand. So I used to ask myself, if I can play a forehand, why can't I play a backhand? And when I'm seeing people who are training with me playing backhand, I asked my coach a number of times, how do you start with the backhand? How do you implement that stroke? How do you train that stroke? So he gave me some tips that how do you start with? How do you go about it? I used to do multi-ball backhands, maybe with 1500 balls at a stretch. Nothing to stop me in between. My coach used to never give me a stop. I have to train with 1500, 2000 balls when I used to play one stroke. So 1500 backhand. We used to start playing spin. Slowly but steadily, I started to play spin with my backhand. Yes, coming back to India, I was fumbled again, whether to play backhand or whether to play forehand. Because in India, no one was playing backhand. And if I play a backhand, my backhand was not that powerful to win me a stroke. So I had to find a way. So what I did was, I went to a middle path. I tried to get an opening for my forehand through backhand first. Okay, let me try that. I will get an opening so that I can finish it with my forehand. Then I started playing consistent backhand. So an opponent has to get a problem. Where do I play? Whether I play on his backhand or whether I play in forehand. His forehand is also good, his backhand is also good. Now the opponent is in a problem. So I started playing both sides of it, and let me tell you honestly, people have come and told me, sir, you are the only guy who started playing backhand, or you are the only guy who started using speed glue in India for the first time. I don't know how true that it is, but in a small way, in a very small way, let me be honest with me and tell me, I contributed in bringing these two things into India. Maybe it is small way. I started bringing speed glue. I started applying the speed glue before every of my match. There used to be a crowd in encircling me that time. I still remember, अरे what is this Babar's doing? अरे ये Babar's पागल है, ये क्या पागल की तरह, ये क्या हर रबर निकाल रहा है और उसको glue लगा के खेल रहा है. But I did that. I didn't stop it. They asked me what happened. I said, if you ask me what happens, I cannot tell you exactly what happened. But I like the noise of the rubber. There used to be a tong, very distinctive noise of the rubber when you apply speed glue and play with for the both backhand and forehand. And then they used to, this rubber खराब हो जाएगा ये क्या? Well, ठीक है. I am playing in Germany. I was getting rubbers, so I was not bothered. Even the top players during that time used to support me with rubbers because they were getting 1,500, 600 rubbers per year. They used to say, ठीक है, Sunil, we play one time. I will give you the used rubber. So used rubber was also new rubber for me. So rubbers was not an issue. So I used to play with every time a new rubber or a used little 1 day or 2 day used rubber. And in that moment or in that way, in a small way, I started playing backhand. I started developing forehand. And let me tell you, like after 1984-85, my game totally changed. I started beating a lot of opponents whom I was struggling to beat them. Then people also started evolving. People also started maybe following me, or you can say trying to play with their own version of backhands, or they started bringing their own speedy glues and started playing. So in a way, maybe I contributed in a small way to bring some minor revolution in table tennis.
That's an interesting story, and I don't know how many people are actually aware about these stories.
Let me tell you, I was really called a madman. Pagal hai. Don't listen to this fellow. Don't go what he's thinking, like he's thinking a radical way or something. But I maintained that I had that strong belief in me that we need to change. I cannot go and telling the same thing to a guy who's coming after me, saying that no, we can beat the Chinese or we can beat the Koreans or Germans or by not playing their game, by playing an Indian game. No, it's not possible. If you are not able to adapt the technology, what technology is giving you, you will be left behind. You can't conquer that. You have to work along with that. It is very clear, the dictum is very clear. If you can't beat them, join them. That's very clear. So you have to follow that.
Yeah, and again coming back to the first question that we started with, like what role does a physical fitness play in table tennis, and how did you incorporate it into your routine? So I understand the camp in Patiala and then followed by a camp in Pune. After that, what happened?
See, coming back from getting an insight into an Indian camp or going into the Indian psyche, you say, and undergoing training camps under a foreign coach, a very new thing that time, a very unique thing of undergoing those. And then also undergoing the physical training exercises with Mr. Ajay Tulpure during our state championships. This everything, even you can say, changed my mindset. You can say my attitude towards looking at physical fitness, or not working very hard, or not working more on your physical side of it. This mental block was removed. It firmly ingrained into my brain that without you being physically fit, you cannot be a good star, or you cannot be a good player, or you cannot be a good sportsman. Yes, we Indians are little lazy, you can say. Basically, no one would on his own will do a lot of physical fitness unless he's been made to do it, made compulsory to do it. So these two things, like Patiala and Tulpulage, was in a way made me compulsory to go into physical fitness. And even when my senior player Surendra Deshpande used to make us run more. Along with him, I used to run maybe 16 kilometers a day, every day, 5 days in a week. He used to just take us for running. Chalo, आज पळायला जायचं. So we used to go for running 16 kilometers a day, not knowing the fact that it will help me or it will not help me, or whether I want to become a table tennis star, or whether I would. He used to just say, Sunil, chalo, we have to go for a run. and it will help you overall. So these things inculcated an habit into me, saying that physical fitness is very important. And apart from this physical fitness exercises, over a period of time, say maybe 5, 7 years after I was a good player in India, I was an established player in India, I was traveling a lot outside and everything. I Another taboo which was there in the Indian sport or say Indian fitness regimes or being a good professional athlete is there was a taboo in doing weight training. A lot of people used to come and like I was apprehensive of going to a gym. What is what? And going to a gym means what? There was a very finality in that. You're going for weight. You're going to do weights. There was gyms were not evolved during those times. Okay, having a treadmill or having some flexibility exercise. Gyms were only there with barbells, bars, and everything, which was done only for your weight training. So, and there was a taboo in saying that no weight training will increase your muscle bulk, it will increase your weight, and if you leave weight training, you will bloat, you will become more fat, and all these things were circling in the mind. But after the initial hiccup, I can say, of not going for weight training, it was, I can tell you, Dr. Sarang Pani, one of the topmost sports trainer, or say sports doctor. He introduced us to do weight training. Like he showed us the way to do what exercises you should do, what are the repetitions you should do, with how much weight you should do those things. And slowly and steadily he introduced us to weight training. During our Asian Games camp, and he's from Pune incidentally, so we used to go and seek advice from him. So he gave us a chart of what weight training exercise you should do, how you should go about it. On one day, what you should do. On one day, you may do arms only, but with that, or one day you can do your abs, core. One day you can do only shoulder, and all those things he slowly but steadily introduced, and I got what you can say hooked onto it. After a period of time, I got to hooked on it, and luckily, I am telling you, sir. Unfortunately, I am very fortunate enough to say, most of the health clubs, like there are only 3 or 4 health clubs into apostrophe that time in Pune. Like one was at W. Vardekar's, this complex, one was in Kothur and all. Those clubs used to charge me no fees because I was a player who represented India. I was playing so nice, everything. They didn't charge me a single rupee, but they invited me to come and train, improve the facilities of the health club. So that is how I got hooked onto it, and that has stayed with me till now. Today also I try and go to the gym. But if I go to the gym, I do some walking, I do some other physical exercises, but do some light weight training also. When today also go, and I advise people today that absolutely weight training is very essential. And you can see me and tell me, I will definitely tell you, it added 10 years to my sports life. That time I started doing. So it is very essential. So physical part and this weight training part are two most important things for a man to develop into an all-round sport. And today, additionally, if you want to become a world level star, then there you have to check your posture, check your calisthenics, check your hand-eye coordination, you work on your brain. There are so many things which you can do. Your brain is the most important thing where it will give you. So work on your brain. You have to have a good nutrition and etc. 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 So many things today will shape you into become a world-class star.
In fact, that was my last question in this section. Because the times have changed and evolved a lot. And as you kind of fairly shared as to a new regime that has added to the weight training and the physical side of it, what other aspects in today's time should a player focus on according to you? Because the dynamics of the games have changed a lot. And what according to you has changed and that player should consider that?
See, today anyone aspiring to become a world star or say even a national star, for example, only playing is not going to take you up to that. That's for sure. That I can very confidently tell you. Ki only training today, even you can have the best of coach with you, and that coach will take you say 2 hours on the table in the morning, 2 hours or 3 hours in the evening, say 5-6 hours in a day. You are only playing. It will not take you to that stardom level. It will take you to a level where you have just arrived on the scene. But from the arrival scene to achieving stardom, there is another level which you have to cross. So that another level is you have to have a good physical trainer with you. You have to have a good mental trainer with you. You have to take nutritional expert. You have to take a calisthenic guy. You have to take your posture guy. You have to take an hand-eye coordination guy. You have to, and coaching too is there, very important, very very important. And you should have good sparring partners also.
Yeah.
So these things all coming together has changed the dynamics of the game. You can see lot of people like weight training. You say, why would a chess player go for a weight training? You will laugh at me when I tell you ki Kasparov and all, we have seen them weight training. They go regularly for weight training. So why wouldn't chess player who just has to sit go for a weight training? You would say, if he goes for a brain training, yes, I can agree. But why would he go? Or for that matter, why wouldn't football player go for brain training sessions? But they need it. Today, brain, it is an accepted thing, okay, from right medieval ages. But today, your brain is the most central computer in your body, which controls everything of your body. You cannot leave aside brain and do your exercise. No, you cannot. It has to be coordinated with your brain, what you say, exercises, brain functions, brain instructions, everything. So brain has to be trained accordingly. There are certain experts in India where when I had extensive sessions with Dr. Gaurav Sharma, who is a certified brain trainer, and he has told me so many fascinating facts about how a brain can be inspired to do what you want to do. So, and you have to train for that. For that, I want to get my reflex has to improve. Then what should I improve in my brain? What exercises should I do for it? What physical exercises should I do? What mental exercise should I do? Because reflex is a very big part in my game. Anticipation is a big part of my game. So what should I do for that? How will my brain... So help me in doing that. So these are the things. And today, being a sportsman is just not very simple thing in life. That तुमने बल्ला पकड़ा, डंडा पकड़ा और चले और बन गए sportsman. It is not possible. Today, in today's world, it is absolutely not possible that without proper training, you can become a good athlete. So these, apart from physical aspect, you have to work on your mental and other aspects also to become a trained, what you say, ninja athlete, you can say. That is the exact word.
Thank you so much, sir.